Good morning, sunshine, evening, moonlight, wherever you're at. This is Charlie.
Philosophers with pens in hand, questions deep, ain't life grand?
It's the year 2075. You don't age anymore because aging is so last century. Your best friend is an AI with the emotional range of a Shakespearean actor, and your grandma just uploaded herself to the cloud. Congratulations, you're living in the transhumanist era, where humanity and technology are doing the tango and no one's sure who's leading.
Let it fly, find new ways till we die.
Welcome to Nobody Cares About the Chickens, the podcast where we take deep dives into weird topics so you don't have to Google them yourself. Today we're unpacking transhumanism, the movement that says being human is great, but have you tried upgrading? We're talking about brain chips, AI overlords, designer babies, and the very real possibility that you might live forever. But should you?
The chicken rise from where we're kicking, elevate the soul, let it fly.
Transhumanism might sound futuristic, but the idea of human enhancement has been around since people realized that our physical evolution wasn't the end game. The term was actually coined by Julian Huxley, the brother of Aldous Huxley, who wrote Brave New World, which is either irony or foreshadowing. You can take your pick. He believed we should use science and technology to transcend our biological limits. So basically, he was pitching self-improvement, but with microchips instead of meditation apps. But this idea isn't new. Ancient mythologies were obsessed with transcendence. The Greeks had Prometheus stealing fire, which was a metaphor for knowledge and technology from the gods. And in Hindu mythology, Vishnu's avatars symbolized evolution into higher states of being. Meanwhile, the ancient Chinese concept of Zen spoke of individuals achieving immortality through alchemical or spiritual refinement, a strikingly early take on human enhancement. The Renaissance revived these themes, fueling the idea of human perfectibility, which later influenced the Enlightenment's push toward reason and scientific progress. Even the Industrial Revolution can be seen as a transhumanist leap, machines augmenting human ability, a direct precursor to today's AI and biohacking advancements. Fast forward to the 20th and 21st centuries, and real-life developments straight out of sci-fi started emerging. Biohackers began implanting magnets and RFID chips in their fingertips, not just for fun, but as part of the DIY transhumanist movement, an underground push for self-directed evolution. Scientists, meanwhile, took genetic engineering mainstream with CRISPR, a gene editing tool that essentially works like Photoshop for DNA. It's already being used to eliminate genetic disorders, but the ethical debates rage on. Should we design better humans? And then there's Elon Musk's Neuralink, a brain-computer interface that aims to let you control devices and maybe even text people using only your thoughts. In 2021, a monkey named Pager used a Neuralink chip to play Pong with its mind. If this technology advances, it could revolutionize medicine, communication, and even consciousness itself. But at what cost? So is this the next step in evolution, or are we just toddlers playing with fire? Let's talk about the gadgets and breakthroughs that are dragging us, sometimes kicking and screaming, into the transhumanist future. Genetic engineering and CRISPR. This is where we start treating DNA like a Snapchat filter, tweaking it, reshaping it, and editing it until it fits some ideal version of perfection. Scientists are already using CRISPRs to eliminate genetic diseases. In China, scientist He Jiankui secretly modified the genes of twin girls to make them resistant to HIV, a move that shocked the world and got him arrested. The ethics? Well, it's murky. The potential? Well, that's massive. Imagine erasing inherited diseases or even enhancing intelligence. But what happens when genetic upgrades become a luxury for the elite? As of 2025, the landscape of genetic modification remains complex. The European Union maintains a prohibition on clinical germline gene editing, reflecting widespread ethical concerns, though there is some questionable movement in Scandinavian countries. In the US, things are even looser, with the FDA overseeing gene therapies and clinical application. But there's no nationwide ban on germline editing, which means private companies are jumping on the bandwagon, offering genetic mods for traits like intelligence, gender, or even appearance. This opens up a whole new can of worms about the commercialization of genetic enhancements and the very real possibility of a genetic divide, where the rich can design their dream babies while the rest of us are stuck with the genetic hand we are dealt. Meanwhile, over in China, after the 218 He Jiankui baby scandal, the government cracked down on germline editing, but that doesn't stop private companies from taking liberties in more shadowy corners. Japan's also tinkering with gene editing, but they're keeping it tight for now. They're worried that private companies might be pushing the boundaries faster than the regulations can keep up. Singapore is a bit more relaxed, but still prohibits germline editing, though private companies are definitely getting a little too close for comfort. And then there's Israel, where genetic research is charging ahead, but with fewer checks and balances. Australia, on the other hand, is sticking to strict laws against germline editing, but is at the forefront of gene therapies for disease treatment, though there's always that murmur in the background about loosening regulations. So it's like a global genetic bake-off. Some countries are sticking to the recipe, and others are just chucking in whatever they fancy, hoping it doesn't explode in their faces.
Touch me.
Some places are all about strict ethical guidelines and others are, let's just say, a bit more laissez-faire. The big issue, private companies operating in the gray areas without proper oversight are potentially opening Pandora's box. Meanwhile, religions have a lot to say. You've got people arguing that playing God with human genes is, well, a bit too close to the edge, which raises the question of whether we're overstepping divine boundaries. It digs deep into beliefs about the sanctity of life, the soul, and whether humans should really be able to decide what our future generations look like, act like, or even think like. And if you ask me, with the way technology and algorithms are going, we're all starting to sound the same. Surgeries are making us even look alike, and this whole don't show emotions thing has us all acting in the same macho, egotistical, pooping, robotic attitudes we've been tossed with. We've become products designed and shaped over centuries. Artificial intelligence and the brain-computer interface. Gone are the days where we thought the future of tech was just wearing a fancy smartwatch. Neuralink, Elon Musk's brainchild, wants to literally stick Wi-Fi into your skull, because why stop at being addicted to your phone when you can be addicted to your thoughts being uploaded straight to the cloud? Please, you really don't need to hear my thoughts. In 2021, a monkey named Pager played Pong using just its brain. No controller, no joystick, just brain power. Pretty cool, right? But let's be real, the idea of downloading knowledge like Neo in the Matrix, well, that sounds fun, however terrifying to me. Fast forward to 2024, and Neuralink is now working on implants that could help paralyzed individuals control robotic arms using their thoughts. Sounds promising, right? But it raises a few questions, like, will we be able to upload kung fu knowledge anytime soon? Or will we just have corporations accessing our every thought and telling us when to buy the next pair of sweatpants? There's more going on in this space than we can keep track of, and it's not just about people with disabilities anymore. Control Labs, now part of Meta, is working on a wristband that turns brain signals into text. That means mind typing, which could be amazing for people with mobility issues until the company storing your thoughts decides to sell them to advertisers. And let's not forget about Synchron, who makes strides with their Stentrode implant, which lets people control devices through brain signals. Less invasive than traditional implants, but you can already imagine the potential for someone to figure out how to use this for, say, less ethical purposes. Oh, and Facebook, sorry Meta, has been all over this, developing mind-reading glasses. They've got neural sensors in them to detect your brain signals so you can control devices with your thoughts. Let's not leave out DARPA, which has been funding research on enhancing soldiers' brains, because that's exactly what we need, a tech arms race where we're all competing for brain power. But when it's not just military tech, what's stopping private companies from pushing boundaries with little to no oversight? So here we are, staring down a future where our thoughts might get uploaded, downloaded, or even mined for data by companies that have no business knowing what we think. Yep, it's fun to play Pong with our brains, but when the real players are corporations tapping into our minds for profit, maybe we are the ones being played.
Are you crazy?
Then there's nanotech and cybernetics. Think microscopic robots repairing your cells from the inside. Think prosthetic limbs that outperform natural ones. In Japan, cybernetic limbs like the HAL exoskeleton are already helping disabled people walk again. But are we enhancing life or creating a future where the natural human body is obsolete? Which takes us to longevity and life extension. So, picture this. You stop aging. Forever. Apparently, this could be real, according to some scientists.
Oh, did you see that?
Harvard's David Sinclair, who's basically the wizard of anti-aging, claims aging is just a disease that can be cured. In fact, he argues that we can actually reverse it through epigenetic programming. Basically, he's saying we can tweak our genetic code like it's a broken app, so it stops making us old and wrinkly. Sinclair is not alone in this quest. Companies like Calico, which is owned by Google, are pumping billions into life extension research. But here's the story. If we stop aging, what's going to happen to our planet? How are we going to deal with overpopulation when everyone's out there trying to live forever? So let's throw another fun fact in there. There's a millionaire named Brian Johnson who's literally reversing his age. You've probably seen him on social media. This guy, no joke, spends around $2 million a year on a strict regimen of supplements, therapies, and treatments to reverse his biological clock. According to him, he's got the body of an 18-year-old. So just to be clear, we're talking about people who have enough money to go on age-reversing vacations while the rest of us are out here trying to afford rent. It's like immortality might just become the ultimate luxury for the rich. But what about the rest of us?
In fields of green without a sound, feathers fall, they hit the ground.
Are we just going to be like obsolete software, constantly updated but never quite keeping up?
Does it even matter at all?
Scientists have been playing around with gene editing techniques like CRISPR to slow down aging. They're testing things like turning off genes that contribute to aging or boosting the production of molecules that keep our cells younger. Some researchers are even looking at ways to regenerate organs. So you could be getting a new liver at like age 100 and through a regular checkup. Pretty wild. But all this begs the question, if some people can afford to live forever, will the rest of us just be stuck in the waiting room watching it all unfold? And do you actually want to live forever? I mean, if forever existed, would anything ever matter again?
Nobody cares about the clock.
Now, before we all start signing up for cyborg upgrades, let's consider the fine print. The good stuff is there won't be any more diseases. Check. Intelligence boosts. Sign me up for that. And living forever, well, that kind of depends. The oopsie part, and maybe we need to scratch our heads more on this, is that it's the wealthy people that will be getting all the upgrades first. Imagine a world where billionaires are literally superhuman while the rest of us are still dealing with seasonal allergies. Also, what about the loss of humanity? If your thoughts, emotions, and memories can be uploaded to the cloud, are you still you? What do we tell the woke generation, and what will happen to all the self-proclaimed spiritual gurus? And finally, the AI question. So, what happens when AI surpasses human intelligence? You know, when we're no longer the sharpest tools in the shed and suddenly Siri's the one calling the shots? Are we still running the show? Or have we become highly inefficient pets just waiting for our robot overlords to feed us? Seriously, if AI reaches superintelligence, we've got to ask, what's our place in all of this? Will we still be the top of the food chain, or will we be the ones getting fetched like a dog while AI runs the world and sorts out all the inefficiencies we can't even fathom? Think about it. AI doesn't need to sleep, eat, or suffer from emotional meltdowns. We're at a risk of being outpaced, outsmarted, and honestly, outclassed. It's like giving the keys to the kingdom to your overly competent pet and hoping it doesn't decide to run the entire royal family into the ground. Yet, here we are, trusting humanity, and all I'm doing about it is a measly podcast. Let's check into the philosophical divide of East versus West. So, when we talk about human enhancement, Western philosophy, with its obsession on individualism, sees it as an opportunity for personal evolution. It's all about progress, self-improvement, and pushing the boundaries of what we can achieve. The sky's the limit isn't just a saying, it's actually a lifestyle. In the West, enhancing ourselves, whether through technology, genetic modification, or even self-help books, is seen as the next logical step in our evolution. You want to be smarter, stronger, or live longer? Well, then go ahead, take the genetic upgrade, plug into AI, or whatever else we've got in the toolbox. It's your choice. It's your future. But then we've got the Eastern philosophy. And here's where it gets really interesting. Eastern traditions like Taoism and Buddhism have a much more cautious approach when it comes to messing with the natural order. Taoism, for instance, emphasizes living in harmony with nature, believing that the key to fulfilling life is to follow the natural flow, or Tao, of things. You don't try to force your will on the universe, you move with it. In Buddhism, there's the idea of impermanence. Everything is constantly changing. And rather than trying to resist that, the goal is to accept it. So when it comes to enhancing humans, Eastern philosophies ask, why interfere with the natural cycle? If we start altering our biology or using technology to improve ourselves, are we upsetting that balance? Are we disregarding the interconnectedness of all things? It's a tricky question, isn't it? On one hand, the West is all about breaking limits, pushing boundaries, and reaching for the stars. It's the spirit of innovation, of human mastery. But in the East, there's a reverence for the natural order and a deep wisdom in accepting life as it comes. Aging, death, and all. It's not necessarily about giving up on progress. It's about asking, what does progress really mean? Is it about living longer, or is it about learning to live better in tune with the world around us? So, in a sense, while the West is out here trying to break the rules and rewrite the script, the East is sitting back, sipping tea, and saying, maybe the best thing we can do is just let the story unfold. This contrast isn't just philosophical fluff. It speaks to how we view our relationship with technology, the earth, and each other. Do we, as humans, have the right to redefine our very nature, or do we risk losing something valuable in the process? Something that can't be downloaded or upgraded, no matter how many gene edits we make.
The captain has turned off the no smoking sign. The captain has turned on the no smoking sign. The captain has turned
So through the research, I found out that in the next 10 to 20 years, getting ready for AI integration is going to become seamless. You'll wonder how we ever lived without it. So imagine this, you walk into your house and with just a thought, your lights turn on and the thermostat adjusts and your playlist starts playing. Not because you've got a phone in your hand, but because you've got your brain synced with your smart home. Brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, are already on the horizon, and soon they might just be the next big thing in tech. Now, let's take it up even a notch. Biohacking, the DIY movement of enhancing the human body with technology, is going mainstream. In the next decade or so, you'll probably see more people experimenting with gadgets, implants, and even genetic modifications to optimize their health and performance. Think of it as the next evolution of fitness and wellness, but with a lot more wires and needles involved. You want to upgrade your memory, enhance your senses, or maybe just be able to work 20 hours a day without crashing? Biohacking might have the solution for that. But the real kicker in the is the first real human AI neural connections. This is where things get wild. We're talking about direct connections between your brain and AI bypassing screens, keyboards, and even voice commands. Your thoughts could communicate with machines in real time, making tasks easier, faster, and let's face it, a bit terrifying. Want to learn a new language in an instant? Boom! AI downloads it straight into your brain. Need to figure out how to play an instrument? You could feel the music in your mind as if it always was there. But with all this convenience, there's a catch. It raises huge questions. Who controls the tech? Who's responsible if things go wrong? And are we enhancing ourselves, or are we just becoming the operating system for a much smarter entity? The reality is we're on the brink of a revolution. As we get more connected to our devices, the line between human and machine is going to blur. We could be looking at a world where thinking is the new input. The big question is, will we be in control of this new tech, or will it be controlling us? By 2050 to 2100, from what I gathered in research, we could see mind uploading and AI-human hybrids making work obsolete and possibly redefining what it means to be human. Imagine transferring your consciousness into a digital form, hopping between bodies or virtual worlds, and living beyond the physical constraints of aging or death. But then again, here's another catch. If we get this right, it's a utopia where we explore new realities with AI as our partners. If we screw it up, we might end up in a dystopian tech-controlled nightmare, with immortality reserved for the wealthy and the rest of us living in a digital hellscape. Whether we ascend to digital immortality or descend into chaos, future historians, probably AI, will be keeping track of it all. Rudolf Steiner, the Austrian philosopher and founder of anthroposophy, early 1900s, expressed concerns about the potential dehumanizing effects of technological and medical advancements driven by materialism. Steiner warned that future science might try to explain or even manipulate spirituality in purely biological terms, stripping away its deeper significance. That was in the 1900s, people. He believed that reducing everything to genetics and neurochemistry is a major flaw in modern thinking, because it dismisses the existence of higher realities beyond the material world. Many other scientists later on echoed his concerns, such as Ralph Waldo Emerson. In some speculative discussions, people have even suggested that future technologies or medicines such as vaccines or drugs could be used to suppress spiritual awareness by altering brain chemistry. An idea that, while not proven, resonates with Steiner's warnings about materialistic science controlling human consciousness.
3, 2, 1.
And if only for these reasons, this is exactly why we need to elevate our minds, heal our hearts, and mend the way we live as a collective. The future is rushing at us, and we are standing on the edge, staring into a world that's radically changing. No, it's not like the time of electricity or the internet. This is much stronger and by far more impossible to control. We cannot afford to continue getting caught up in the noise of division. We need each other. Human beings are not meant to thrive in isolation. We're supposed to be building bridges, not more walls. The world needs the world, and we need each other more than ever before. Yet, here we are, still caught up in the same old cycle, fighting over religions, cultures, and values as if ours is the only truth, judging each other's dreams and ambitions as though we know what's best. We act as if we're the ones carrying the torches when in reality, we're all just trying to light the way. It's time to stop wasting our time on hate, on disagreements that lead to nowhere, and on pointless squabbles that only keep us divided. The world is facing a future where we can either evolve together or crumble apart. There is no middle ground. If we don't begin to grow, to unite, to truly learn from one another before it's too late, we'll be left in the dust of a future that's built not on the strength of our humanity, but on the absence of it. Decentralizing governments and imposing transparency, protecting digital rights, bridging cultural gaps, implementing new cultural norms, and breaking those down cycles of division can begin as soon as we decide that they should. The change we want to see in this world begins with us. It is in this moment, and it starts by us coming together. The world cannot afford to wait any longer, and neither can we. So, what do we think? Are we sprinting towards a golden age of human evolution, or are we about to make a huge, irreversible mistake? Would you upload your mind to a computer if it meant living forever? Is it the forever you imagined? And more importantly, if you had to choose one upgrade, what would it be? Mine would remain the ability to immerse myself in this very second. No future, no past, just you and me now.
Dark, curious minds, let's move on.
The golden nugget for today is that we are on the brink of an extraordinary future, one shaped by technology, genetic engineering, and artificial intelligence. But the real question is, will we evolve as humans first? The key to navigating this future lies in our ability to unite, to elevate our minds, heal our hearts, and transcend the divisions that hold us back. Because in the end, it's not the tech or the breakthroughs that will define us, it's the humanity we choose to preserve and grow. Until next time, keep questioning everything, because somebody has to. Well, before you go, do me a tiny favor, hit follow, leave a comment, and drop a review. What you say truly matters to me deeply. Your support is the fuel for the circus train, and I promise to keep improving. I'm on a mission to prove that even if you think you're a nobody or not famous, you can still be someone for somebody. Take care, stay curious, and remember, nobody cares about the chickens, but there's always someone out there that definitely cares about you.
Mom, somebody just followed me.
Nobody cares about the chickens, mine's the one we're kicking. Elevate the soul.
This show is sponsored by LeChaos.co, www.lechaos.co. Genderless, sustainable, trendy lifestyle.